and they know it. And so this war against Islam, another thing you should realize to those of our friends, Islam has its own system. It's not just a quote-unquote religion. We don't even like to use the word religion. We might say it from time to time, but for us, it's a way of life. There's an Islamic social system. There's an Islamic political system. There's an Islamic economic system. What the imperialists got us to do was to just to put focus on Islam as just like, going to Juma and prayer every Friday, having nikahs, get married, Eid, celebrate your little holidays and stuff like that, but do not bring Islam into the political realm. Do not bring Islam into the economic realm. And so many Muslims were taught to see Islam only as a religion and not as a way of life. But in this Islamic revival, having tested socialism and capitalism and although we like socialism better, and having tested out nationalism and so on and so forth, we said, no, Islam is what made us who we are. And so now this Islamic revival is sweeping. And like Malcolm said that what this country is worried about, 1965, he said, there are dark-skinned people, people of color, dark-skinned people outside of the West who are rising up against the West, Western imperialism. He said, but now the Western governments are also concerned that these dark-skinned people who are rising up against the West and Western imperialism outside the house, the number of dark-skinned people inside the West is growing. And he's concerned, Malcolm said, on how those outside the house would affect or infect those inside the house. Just erase dark-skinned people and put Muslims. We all in Europe. We all in America. We all in Canada. We all over the place. So here America has declared war on Islam outside of this country, war on Islam. While inside the West, the Muslims are growing. And we do not recognize national boundaries. It don't matter where you're from. You're a Muslim, and I'm a Muslim. We related. We brothers. And so we go beyond the nation-state concept, your nation, my nation type thing, which is how they got Palestine in the first place. We put emphasis on my own particular nation and then your own particular nation, and we became nationalistic. So when something happened to our people over there, we didn't care. It ain't my nation. My nation's cool. And that's how they were able to get Palestine. They took us away, they took away from us the concept of ummah. Ummah. Well, alhamdulillah, the ummah concept is coming back in. Every time they try to do something to us, don't it backfire on them? Tell the truth. They did the cartoons. Goodness gracious alive. They did the cartoons, woke us up all over the world. Thinking like an ummah. Everything that they do, what they're doing in Iraq, makes us think like an ummah. What they're doing in Palestine, I'll say it again, nothing unites us like the situation in Palestine. Nothing unites us like Palestine. Nothing unites us. We start thinking like the ummah when we deal with Palestine. No. We're all on the same page. This Islamic revival that is taking place, they can try to stop it, they can try to redirect it, but they will not be successful. This deen continues to grow and grow, and it's continuing to getting stronger and stronger. Now, where does that leave us here in the West? We are here, as you know, in the West. So, before I stop, let me just say this. The elephant in the living room is the rise of Islam. That's the elephant in the living room that they're not talking about. And then they come at you with these labels. Radical Islam, as opposed to Islam. What is radical Islam? What is radical Islam? We're Muslims. We're supposed to live, in a Muslim environment. right? We're supposed to have Muslim institutions. We're supposed to have Muslim governments. We're talking about radical Islam. That's just Islam. That's all it is. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, started off with himself and a couple other people. 23 years later, they established Islamic government. What are you talking about, radical Islam? Did the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, practice radical Islam? As opposed to unradical Islam. There's Islam. No such thing as radical Islam. Remember, brothers and sisters, that what this is an issue about, overall, is for Muslim self-determination. Muslim self-determination against the forces of imperialism. That's what this is about. Muslim self-determination. We will determine our own course. We will determine what type of system we will set up. We will determine who our leaders will be. We'll determine that, not you. We'll determine that. And so when George Bush and the Israelis got angry at the Palestinians for choosing Hamas, the Palestinians were saying, these are our leaders. This is who we choose. We choose the Islamic movement. We want Islamic revival. That's what we want. And what happens? They put the Gazans, you're already there, they tighten the noose. They tighten the noose in terms of forcing the Gazans to live in a virtual prison. Now, didn't Bush talk about democracy and voting? So they be lying about this. Vote, vote, vote. The man's so stupid. You say, Mr. President, let them vote. They're going to vote for Islam. It's an Islamic revival taking place. They're going to vote for Islam, sir. They vote, we want Islam. Bush is mad. Israelis upset. You fools, idiots. Because you're not dealing with the elephant in the living room. There is an Islamic revival taking place. And you can't stop it. It's here. It's here to stay. And so the 21st century will be the century of Islam. Yeah. And Sam and the Zionists know it, and they're afraid. They are afraid. They don't know what to do. Because each thing they do and each thing they try backfires on them, and it actually strengthens us. Now, our challenge, as I come to, let me wrap this up. The brothers read the ayat earlier. And I know some of our parents are here. See what this guy was talking about. See what he says. You should be very proud of your children. You should be very proud. I know it's natural to be concerned about them. We're in a witch hunt. And they're out there speaking truth to power. It's natural that you be concerned. They have to do it. They got to do it. They have to do it to protect you. Because they love you. They love you. And they know that their parents are not terrorists. And they know that their parents do not deserve to live in a state of insecurity and fear. They have to speak up. And so you can go ahead and naturally be concerned about them, but you should be proud of them too. They're representing you well. They're representing this deen well. But they have to do it. Silence is consent. And for our friends, you know, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he said, anyone who sees an evil being committed should first try to change it with their hand, fix it by action. If you can't change it with your hand, the Prophet said, peace be upon him, speak out against it. He said, you can't speak out against it, feel bad about it in your heart, but that's the lowest level of faith. Just feel bad about it in your heart, that's the lowest level of faith. And so we simply say that the struggle that we are engaged in America